Hi, I'm Nancy Drew. Since you can tell a lot about a person by where he or she lives, I thought I'd introduce myself by showing you my room. As you can see, I keep it pretty neat. Of course, I don't spend that much time in here. I always seem to be off solving mysteries. Anyway, here's my center of operations, my desk. Go ahead and poke around.
Hello?
Hi, Chantal. It's Nancy Drew.
You know who's behind the accidents?
Not quite yet.
Oh.
About Tino, I'm not totally comfortable with the idea of consulting with him on this case.
Why not? Two heads are always better than one, and I find him to be very knowledgeable and kinda charming.
Do you know what he did when we were on that train trip Laurie Gerard arranged?
He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he did say that that's all water under the bridge. In fact, I insist that if and when you're stumped about something, you ask Tino to help you out. That's what I'm paying him for. Agreed?
Agreed.
Good.
I'd like to know more about the accidents. I asked Ollie, but he said you said he wasn't allowed to talk about them.
I didn't mean he couldn't talk about them with you. Ugh. I'll give him a call. As for the accidents, the first thing that happened was the worst. The Faringdale family and Becky the cook all came down with food poisoning and had to be hospitalized. Somehow, the potato salad got contaminated, although Becky swears it wasn't because of anything she did. I cannot tell you how awful it was. All 5 people became violently ill at roughly the same time. But were they all in the same room? Of course not. They were spread out all over the lodge. Poor Elsa was cleaning for days. And the odor? Oh my gosh. Anyway, then Carl Jenkins slipped on the stairs outside and broke his leg. Then Lou Talbot's window was broken. Then Elsa the maid's tires were slashed. Then the phone wires were cut. And then... oh yeah, and then the Southwaites were almost overcome by fumes when gas started leaking into the sauna.
So, who's suing you?
No one yet. But my lawyers are afraid it's just a matter of time and are trying to figure out what preventative measures to take.
Did you know that some photos are missing from the display case in the lobby?
Really? Last I looked, they were all there. I think.
The caption for them says something like, "Young and old have stayed at Icicle Creek Lodge."
I can't remember what they were pictures of, and I sure don't know why they'd be missing.
That bone Trapper Dan found is missing from its case, too.
First the accidents, now someone's stealing from me? Nancy, you've got to find out what's going on there. If you don't, I'll never be able to convince my dad I'm not a loser. Ever.
How come the entries for last year were deleted from the guest register?
They've been deleted?
That's what the computer says. Contents deleted.
Well, I didn't delete them. Freddie.
Ollie's daughter? Has she done other things like that?
No, but you know how kids are these days. Always hacking into computers, programming them to spread viruses and steal passwords and blow up the world.
I think that's only in movies. Besides, pretty much all this person had to do was press the delete key.
I still say it was Freddie. Last week, I called that Snow Princess game she's always playing idiotic. I think it hurt her feelings. But she'd just gotten done plastering me with snowballs. What'd she expect me to say? That felt great. Do it again?
Has anyone talked to you about the World Championship cross-country skiing competition that's going to be held somewhere in this area year after next?
That is something I am not at liberty to discuss.
In other words, the answer is yes.
I didn't say that. Why do you ask?
That would tend to make Icicle Creek Lodge a very desirable piece of real estate, wouldn't it?
If the championship is held nearby, which as far as I know, still hasn't been decided. You think someone's been causing these accidents to run me out of business so they can buy the lodge from me on the cheap?
It's a thought.
And a pretty nasty one at that.
The guests that are in the lodge now, did any of them stay here last year?
Let's see. Lou Talbot stayed here last summer, but only very briefly. His car had broken down and he was waiting for a tow truck. Oh, and Yanni, he was here last winter. He and his trainer, they were checking out places to train. They didn't stay long either.
Is it true that you promised Ollie a raise, but you haven't given it to him yet?
He told you that? I can't believe it.
Meaning...
Okay, I mentioned to Ollie once that I thought he maybe deserved a raise, and now every time I turn around, he's all like, "Where's the raise you promised me? Where's the raise you promised me?" Doesn't he realize I have a few other things to think about right now? I swear, sometimes that crabby little whiner drives me nuts.
Nothing else to report.
One more thing. Ask Yanni if it would be all right if I used his name and picture on the Icicle Creek Lodge website. I mean, when I finally have a website, it would be great publicity, okay?
Sure.
Good. Talk to you soon.
Hello?
Hi, Ned. It's Nancy.
Hey, Nance. I couldn't tell it was you because you're not calling from your cell phone.
No coverage out here. I'm in the middle of the Canadian Rockies, remember?
Oh, I haven't forgotten. Everything okay?
Well, as a matter of fact, just as I got here, the bunkhouse blew up.
Yikes. So there was another act of sabotage?
Or it could have been an accident. The sheriff is running some tests, and I haven't taken a really good look at the crime scene yet.
Nothing like starting things off with a bang. Sorry, couldn't resist.
A lone wolf has been hanging out around the lodge lately.
A wolf? That's kind of cool.
The handyman, Ollie Randall, is bound and determined to get rid of it. Says it doesn't act the way normal wolves act.
Really? Maybe there's something wrong with it. Something that would make it dangerous. You keep your eyes open when you're outside, Nancy.
Bad news. Chantal is insisting that if I need help, I get it from this police consultant she hired, a guy named Tino Balducci.
Tino Balducci? Not that cop
That's
who...
the one.
How does Chantal know him?
All I know is she thinks he's charming, and for this case I have to get all my hints from him.
Well, I'm sure he'll be very helpful. Not as helpful as, say, I would have been, of course, but very helpful.
Gotta go. I'll call you again.
You can call me anytime. Got that?
Got it. Bye.
Hey, Nancy! I was wondering when your number there was gonna show up on caller ID. This is Tino Balducci. Remember me? From that last train to Blue Moon Canyon we went on? Yeah, I'm the one who helped you find that long-lost treasure.
I'm not sure helped is the right word, Mr. Balducci.
Please, call me Tino.
In fact, Tino, I'm a little surprised you're still in law enforcement, considering some of the unethical, if not illegal, stunts you pulled back then.
Hey, that's all behind me. Ancient history. Water under the bridge. So, looks like we're gonna be working together on this sabotage thing, huh?
Looks like.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I'm working on something that'll pretty much crack this case wide open. But in the meantime, what can I do you for?
Nothing really. Just thought I'd call and kind of check in.
Oh, sure you don't want to hint of something?
Nope, I'm good.
Oh. Well, Chantel hired me to be at your disposal, so you know where to find me. Arrivederci.
Bye.
Well, who are you?
My name's Nancy Drew.
Perhaps what I should have asked Nancy is, what are you? You're obviously much too young to be a paying guest.
I'm the new maid.
Oh, the new maid, thank goodness! I was wondering how much longer the owner expected us to endure these conditions and still pay full price.
How long has Elsa been gone?
2 days, I think. Maybe even 3. I don't know. It's all a blur of dirt and dust and soap residue. My name is Guadalupe Comillo. My friends call me Lupe. Be a doll and clean my room first. It'll hardly take you any time at all, especially compared to the other rooms. The other guests are all men. Single men.
Well, I'm happy to report that I've already cleaned your room.
Excellent.
I hate to sound nosy, but what are you doing?
Birds. I'm watching birds. That's what I am, you see, a bird watcher. Sometimes I go outside and watch, and sometimes I stay inside. It all depends on what the birds feel like doing and what I feel like doing.
So that's what brought you to Icicle Creek Lodge, the birding?
Absolutely. The place is a veritable birding paradise, even in winter. In fact, in the short time I've been here, I've seen hawks, eagles, orioles, cardinals, jays, nothing truly rare. But to a wildlife lover such as myself, seeing them in such a spectacular setting is thrilling nonetheless.
Have you met the other guests?
I've bumped into them at one time or another, yes. I don't spend all my time in front of this window. That Yanni fellow, he's very talented but extremely intense. His whole life revolves around being the best in the world. As for the two who are always sitting across the way playing that silly game, the older man, Bill Kessler, he's no deep thinker, but he's nice enough. But the other one, that college student, talking to him is like trying to converse with a giant turnip. No social graces whatsoever. I almost prefer talking to the handyman. Almost. Anyone that intent on destroying something as glorious as that wolf is hardly worth talking to.
I'll let you go.
Au revoir.